أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما كثيرا وبه نستعين وما توفيقي إلا بالله عليه توكلت إليه أنيب أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, all thanks and glorification are due to Allah. We thank Him, we glorify Him for His bounties and blessings that are uncountable. We thank Him for another opportunity to be gathered here today in the Masjid of Federal University of Technology, Mina, to take lessons from the verses of the glorious Quran. Today, the 7th of Ramadan, 1446 years after the Hijrah of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is equivalent to 7th of March 2025. We stopped last in Surah Al-An'am, that is chapter 6 of the glorious Quran, verse 164. Inshallah, today we'll continue from verse 165. May Allah Ta'ala keep us on the path of guidance. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about himself, وهو الذي جعلكم خلائف الأرض ورفع بعضكم فوق بعض درجات ليبلوكم فيما آتاكم إن ربك سريع العقاب وإنه لغفور رحيم. Earlier before this, in the verse before this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us that our return is back to Him. Those that obey Allah and those that disobey Him. Those that hasten in doing what is right and those that are delayed. All Allah Ta'ala says, ثُمَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ مَرْجِعُكُمْ. To your Lord, after all what happened, to your Lord is your return. Whatever number of years you stay on the surface of the earth, whatever kind of atrocities you commit, however much good you are, whatever you do, whoever you are, إِلَيَّ مَرْجِعُكُمْ. To Allah is your return. Nobody will stay in this dunya forever. Whether because he is good or he is bad, his atrocities or his good deeds, all will return back to Allah. But returning back to Allah, that is not the end of the story. فَيُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. He will now inform you regarding all those arguments, all those dragging, all those statements you have been making regarding why this, why that, why this, why that. At the end, you will come back to Allah. Allah will judge you. So a Muslim believes that death is not the end of everything. Death is the beginning of another journey. By the time you die, then you are starting another journey to infinite life that is only known to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I said earlier, you see, if you look at this dunya, it's just like you take in mathematics, you take a ratio, A over B, for example, the numerator and the denominator. By the time the numerator is increasing, and the denominator is decreasing, what will be the total sum of that? It will tend to infinity or to zero. Mathematics. If the numerator is increasing to infinity and the denominator is increasing, the overall ratio will be going to where? To infinity. Then if the denominator is increasing to infinity and the numerator is coming to zero, what will happen? The whole thing will turn to what? Zero. So it depends on how you take dunya and akhirah. If you take dunya on top, do you get the point? And then, or you take dunya down, or you take akhirah top and you take akhirah down. We all know that you are presently in the dunya, isn't it? You are presently in the dunya. By the time you take this dunya to infinity, I hope you get that. And then you take akhirah to zero, what happened? So it depends on what you do. You get that? So by the time you give dunya the maximum attention, it is only dunya you know. Only dunya you know. You don't know anything about akhirah. You don't pay attention to akhirah. Do you get that? At the end, the entire life you spend will be zero. But if you give akhirah more importance and you spend more on akhirah, little of the dunya, then the whole thing will lead to infinite enjoyment. And that's why Allah, when He talk about Jannah, you say khalidina fiha abada. You stay there forever. May Allah Ta'ala assist us. So this dunya and akhirah, there are two. Where do you place what? And which attention do you give to what? As a Muslim, he will look for dunya. He will not stay without looking for dunya. He will also look for akhirah. But he look for dunya in order for him to earn akhirah. The dunya is not the end in itself. I pray Allah assist us. So whatever happens, whether you take dunya so high, and then at the end you take akhirah very little, or you take whatever happened, at the end of it all, you will return back to Allah. ثُمَّ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكُمْ مَرْجِعُكُمْ فَيُنَبِّئُكُم بِمَا كُنتُمْ فِيهِ تَخْتَلِفُونَ. Who is Allah that you are going to return back to? Who is He? Who is Allah? Who is your Lord that you return back to Him? So in this last verse of the Quran, Allah is telling us about Himself. وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُمْ. He is the one that created you. He is the one that created you. خَلَقَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ وَهُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. He is the one that made you. So He made you خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ to be successors on the surface of the earth. You succeed one another. Before you come to this dunya, there were other people reading. And then after you leave this dunya, others will come and live. So generation upon generation come and go. 200 years ago, in this masjid, I don't think there is any one of us living on the surface of the earth. Then 200 years to come is going to be entirely another generation. This is how Allah has been creating generation after generation. People come and go. People come and go. Even before the coming of the entire human being. Some scholars say there were some creatures before human beings. And those creatures are called Banu Jan. That they stayed before human beings. When they stayed, they committed all kinds of atrocities, and in the end they were destroyed. And that is why when Allah said He's going to create the human being, the angels now ask, أَتَجْعَلُ فِيهَا مَنْ يُفْسِدُ فِيهَا وَيَسْفِكُ الدِّمَاءَ وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. Are you going to place another person on it, another creature on it, that will go and promote corruption on the surface of the earth? Scholar says because they were aware that some creatures were created, they promoted corruption, and Allah destroyed them. So are you going to do the same thing? Allah Ta'ala said, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I knew what you do not know. So Allah is هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. He is the one that placed you replacing one another on the surface of the earth. وَرَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ. And then He raised some of you above others in status. Some are rich, some are poor. Some are strong, some are weak. Some are knowledgeable, some are learning. Some are this. All this, Allah Ta'ala created you. رَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ. Why did He create you and place you in different classes or categories? لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ. For Allah to test you regarding what He has given you. Not because you are better than the other person. The fact that you are rich and the other person is poor does not mean you are better than him. In fact, the fact that you are a scholar, you read Quran, you speak Arabic fluently, you memorize Ahadith, you did all this, that does not mean you are better than the other person that have not reached that level. That never means like that. The fact that people recognize you, people praise you, people hail you, that does not mean you are better than the other person that nobody knew about his existence. And also Rasulullah said, Rubba ash'asa akbara. There will be a situation sometimes you can see someone who is relegated, nobody cares about him. Ash'asa akbara, he look very wretched, very not clean. But law aqsama ala Allah la abarra. He is such a person that if he can swear for Allah to do something, Allah will do it. Why? Because he is regarded by Allah. But here in this dunya, nobody considers him as anybody. You don't consider him as anybody. And that's why in Islam, you don't look down upon somebody because you have more money than him, because you are more knowledgeable, intelligent than him, because you do this than him. You don't know his position before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You might take him to be nobody, but he can be somebody before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of those days, a woman died. She was a slave woman, a slave black woman. She used to be in the masjid to clean the masjid, sweeping the masjid. So she died in the night. When she died, the companions buried her in the night. So after a while, a Prophet ﷺ came. He asked them, he said, where is so person? I have not seen so and so. They said, oh, the messenger of Allah, she died and we just buried her. The Prophet said, she died, you didn't tell me, go and show me her grave. And Rasulullah was taken to her grave. He went and prayed for her while she is in the grave. to show her status. What is she doing? Sweeping the masjid. She's a slave. Nobody take her for serious. So you may take somebody not serious and you may look down upon him because of what you think Allah Ta'ala has given you about him. But he may be great before Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So the fact that Allah has made you this does not mean you are better than Allah, but you are better than the other person. But at the same time, you don't also say because the other person is giving money, maybe he is rich. You say, I have these rich people, they hardly enter Jannah. Who told you? Or you say, these leaders, they hardly enter Jannah. Because who told you? It is all for Allah to test and try them. If they are able to pass through that trial, they become better than you. When Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was talking about 7 people that will be under the shade, under the shelter of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, sab'atun yuzilluhum Allahu fi zillihi yawma la zilla illa zilluh. There are 7 people that will be under a special shade of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, comfort. A day when there is no comfort other than the comfort of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. The first person to be in that, he said, Imamun Adilu, a leader who is just. A leader who is just. So the fact that you see a leader being a leader, that does not mean that he may not be one of the greatest person with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Imamun Adilu. And scholar says, if someone is tested with leadership, and then you are not tested with leadership, his justice is his nawafil. Maybe you can be in nawafil in the daytime, nawafil in the night, nawafil in fasting, nawafil in this, and he may not be doing that. He can go ahead of you if he is just. His justice is his nawafil. So a leader can also be among those that would be under the shade of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And you see rich people also. Sometimes you see rich people say, this rich people, this, yes. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, At-tajirul aminu saduq. Whoever is a business person and he is a reliable person, he is a honest person, this particular person will be resurrected among Nabiyyin ash-shuhada. He will be among the prophets, among the shuhada, the martyrs. So you can have money and then be great with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You can be a leader and be great with Allah Ta'ala. You can be an ordinary person, a poor person, and then you can be great with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. You can be a scholar and be great with Allah Ta'ala. You can be a mere student and can be great with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. In the same way, you can be a scholar and your scholarship can lead you to hell. May Allah protect us. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us, among the people that will be called to account at the first instance are people that knew the glorious Quran. Someone who memorized, who knows, who recite, and excellent in Quran. Allah Ta'ala will declare that he should be invited. If he is invited, the special provision made for people like him will be shown to him. And then he will be asked, why all your recitation of the Quran? Why this? He said, yes, I have done that. This I have done. Allah will say, no, you have done it for others to say you are a good reciter. And therefore you have nothing with me. Go and see whether they are going to give you any reward. And then the person will be admitted into hell. May Allah protect us. Where is his recitation of the glorious Quran? The same thing, someone who died as a martyr, as a mujahid. He struggled, he gave his life, he was killed. He was killed in jihad field. But then Allah Ta'ala will direct that this person should be invited. What has been prepared for those people who died as martyr will be shown to him. And then Allah will ask, why did you struggle and fought and then you are killed? He said, yes, I have done this and this and this. Allah will say, no. You have done it for people to say you are brave. You have done it for people to recognize your effort. And then go to them if they are going to reward you. And then Allah Ta'ala. So you see, it is not what you do in the open. What you do that people see, what you do that people praise, what you do is not what matters with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. What is the motive behind you doing that? What has pushed you to do that particular thing you are doing? That is what Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala considered. And even if you do good, you continue to do good, something can come and nullify that particular, neutralize it. And you don't get reward from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala because of certain wrong deeds that probably you have been committed. Such wrong deeds as what? And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us while talking to the companion, he said, Atadruna mal muflis. Do you know the most bankrupt person, the poorest person? They said the person that doesn't have money. The Prophet said, no. It's the person that will come on the day of Al-Qiyamah. He has prayed, he has fasted, he has done all the necessary things. But Shatama hada, Wadaraba hada, Wasafaka dama hada, Wa akala mala hada. He will come on the day of Al-Qiyamah, he has fasted, he has prayed, he has done so many good things. But Shatama hada, he has abused so many people. He has destroyed the reputation of so many people. Wasafaka dama hada, he has shaded the blood of so many people. He has destroyed the properties of so many people. On the day of Al-Qiyamah, Allah is just. Allah is just in judgment. With what is he going to pay all these people? He has destroyed their reputation. He told lies against them. he destroyed their property, he shedded their blood, it is with his good deeds that Allah Ta'ala will take in order to repay them. If at the end he couldn't repay them all, what will happen? Part of their evil deed will be taken and then added on him, and at the end for yuqraha fin nar, he will be thrown in hellfire. So what we are saying here is this. The fact that you see this person is this person is that, is not a criteria to say that this person is better in the sight of Allah Ta'ala. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, He created you, رَفَعَ بَعْضَكُمْ فَوْقَ بَعْضٍ دَرَجَاتٍ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ. Allah has placed you at that position to test you regarding what He has given you. To test you. If He has given you money, is to test you and see how are you going to utilize that money. If He has made you to be poor, is to test you, to try you and see how you are going to be contented with the little that Allah has given you. If you are this or you are that. Even in terms of our living on the surface of the earth, maybe you grow up in a city or in a country that is very rich, and another person grew up in the village or in a country that is very poor. All these are trials of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Those people that are rich, are they going to seize the advantage because Allah has given them rich and they will be a sort of terrorizing the poor? Because Allah has given you money, then you'll be able to, no. So wherever Allah places you is a trial. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير الذي خلق الموت والحياة ليبلوكم أيكم أحسن عملا. The death and life is just for Allah to test you. Who among you will excel in doing good? Who will excel in doing good? Not who is this and who is that. Not from which family you come from. Not from which tribe you come from. Not from this. لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. So as Muslims, let us see our position as a trial from Allah. Whatever you are enjoying, see it as a trial. If you are rich, take that money as a trial. If you are a leader, take that leadership as a trial. If you are poor, take that situation as a trial. Any position as a trial. By the time you rely on Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Allah can make that particular trial to be a means of you earning His pleasure. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said, لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ فِي مَا آتَاكُمْ إِنَّ رَبَّكَ سَرِيعُ الْعِقَابِ وَإِنَّهُ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Inna rabbaka, and certainly your Lord. Who is your Lord? Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Sari'ul iqab is swift in punishment. Is swift in punishment. He can punish you instantly if you commit an evil, and you cannot escape from that. But at the same time, وَإِنَّهُ لَغَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Allah is forgiving, Allah is merciful. You see, Allah talked about His punishment once. For His mercy, He said Ghafur and He said Rahim. He is forgiving, He is merciful. And that is why the forgiveness of Allah and the mercy of Allah overshadows His own punishment or His own sort of retribution. So Muslims are supposed to work towards what? Seeking for the ghafara and the rahmah of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We have come to the end of Surah Al-An'am, and this surah ended by telling us the attribute of Allah as Ghafur or Rahim. The chapter ended by telling us Allah is forgiving and Allah is merciful. If we go back to the beginning of the chapter, Allah started by asking us to praise Him. Alhamdulillah, Allah started the chapter by asking us to praise Him, to glorify Him, to thank Him. You know, there is no greater thing you can do to Allah than thanking or appreciating Him for the favors He have done to you. Alhamdulillah, alladhi khalaqa as-samawati wal ard wa ja'ala adh-dhulumati wan nur thumma alladhina kafaru bi rabbihim ya'dilun. The chapter started by glorifying Allah, thanking Allah who created the heavens, who created the earth, Allah Ta'ala who created situations you see of darknesses and light, who created all this. But instead of human being to serve and worship Allah alone, they associate partner to Him, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Now at the end of the verse of this chapter, He is telling us that He is Ghafur Rahim. He is forgiving and merciful. So let's turn back to Allah, seek for Allah's forgiveness and mercy, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, a report was reported, this was reported, and Rasul said, I used to seek for Allah's forgiveness 70 times, over 70 times in a day. And that's An-Nabi, istighfar, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh, astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh, more than 70 times. In another narration, up to 100 times, Rasul will do istighfar. Now ask yourself, how many times do you do istighfar to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala? How many times do you come back to Allah with istighfar? If a Rasul, who Allah will not hold responsible for anything, Allah have declared it, Subhanahu, He has no issue with the Prophet. But still the Prophet will do istighfar over 70 times in a day. How many times do you do istighfar? How many times? And even if you do the istighfar, what kind of istighfar do you do? Is it this astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah? You don't even reflect deeply over what you are saying? That's not the kind of istighfar we are saying Rasul is doing, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's the istighfar that is connected with inaba. Anibu ila rabbikum. Coming back to Allah. That kind of istighfar, some scholars will mention. I used to cite this example. I think last year I cited. For example, just sit down. Like now, this is evening time, isn't it? Around 5 something, 0 to 5. You sit down, you think over the morning hours, what you have done, you think about your life, you think about the favor of Allah, you look at so many things, you look at your weaknesses, you say, Astaghfirullah. This is one istighfar. Then maybe after a while again, you sit down, you reflect about the gifts of Allah, the blessings of Allah, your weakness and human being, what you have been doing. You say, Astaghfirullah. That is two istighfar. Do this 70 times in a day, over 100 times in a day. Returning back to Allah. Coming back to Allah. So it's not ordinary just saying istighfar, istighfar, and then without even knowing what you are doing. Seek for Allah's forgiveness sincerely. Come back to Allah with your mind, with your mindset, with your thinking. So this coming back to Allah, Rasul said, I do more than 70 times in a day. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He is doing this to who? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you think you don't commit sin, and which is not possible, maybe I've never committed any sin today. I've never committed any sin. So why should I ask for Allah's forgiveness? We say, no. The light you have seen, that Allah has given you the eyes to see that light, have you paid equivalent for that particular thing that Allah has given you? Have you appreciated Allah enough for the oxygen you breathed today, from morning till now, how many hours? Have you appreciated Allah enough? The urine you went to toilet and urinated free, have you appreciated Allah? If you had decided to withhold it, and then you want to urinate, and then it refused to come out. Now it has come out freely. Have you appreciated Allah for that urine? Have you appreciated Allah for that water you drink? Have you drank in the morning? Have you appreciated Allah for all these bountiful, wonderful gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So you will need to say a lot of istighfar to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You are weak, you have not done enough. So so Allah is Ghafurur Rahim. And one wonders with Allah's istighfar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with istighfar. If you seek for Allah's forgiveness, Allah loves you the more. Allah loves people that do istighfar. Allah loves those people that come back to Him. He was saying in one hadith, and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said in one hadith, he was citing an instance. He said, imagine a person that is in the desert. He is in the desert, he is moving around, then his riding material escaped and ran away. With all his provision, he started looking around. No transport, no food, no water, no human being, nowhere to go. He looked around anywhere, and at the end he lost hope. He now have to sit down under one shade of tree, just waiting for death, because he has lost hope. At that particular moment, he just opened his eyes, and he see his transport material back, he see his water back, he see his food back, he see life coming. What kind of joy will be in that person? That because of the joy, he even held the camel and said, oh my Lord, I am your Lord, you are my servant. He said, because of happiness and joy, he even committed. And Rasul said, Allah is more happier than this particular person if he see his servant coming back to him. Allah loves to see people coming back to him. Allah loves to see people coming back. So scholars say it is not committing sin that is even the problem. It's coming back to Allah. Someone can commit sin and become remorseful and regret and cry and come back to Allah. And that is a very big sin. Because of his cry, because of his remorse, because of coming back to Allah, Allah will accept him and forgive him. And somebody might not be committing sin, big sin, but he will be arrogant. That yes, I am this, yes, I am that, yes, I am this. Between this sinner that come back to Allah and this obedient servant in court that is arrogant, who is more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The one that return back to Allah. So life is about coming back to Allah. All of us commit sin in one way or the other. All of us commit one wrong in one way or the other. But how many of us usually come back to Allah in repentance, seeking for Allah's forgiveness? May Allah Ta'ala assist us. So this is Allah. So the last verse told us about Allah. هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَكُمْ خَلَائِفَ الْأَرْضِ. If we go back to the beginning of Surah Al-An'am, there are several places that Allah talk about Huwa, meaning He is, defining who Allah Ta'ala is. At the beginning, He told us, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن طِينٍ. He is the one who created you from mere clay or sand. So He defined Himself as the creator. Is there anyone that claims that He is the creator that created you? No. So Allah you are to serve is هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن طِينٍ. Who is Allah that you are called upon to serve? Allah said, وَهُوَ اللَّهُ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَفِي الْأَرْضِ يَعْلَمُ سِرَّكُمْ وَجَهَرَكُمْ. He is Allah The only Allah that is worshipped and served in the heavens and in the earth, and He knows your secret. Who is that person that knows your secret? Who is that is doing worship in the heavens and the earth? He is the one that is Allah. He also mentioned Himself, still in Surah Al-An'am. He said, "Huwa alladhi yatawaffakum bil-layl." He is the one that take your own a sort of life in the night, meaning you go into sleep, happily dead. You go into sleep. Who is that provide that particular time for you to go into sleep and seize your own movement for a while? He is Allah and not another person. Who is Allah? وَهُوَ الْقَاهِرُ فَوْقَ عِبَادِهِ. Allah Ta'ala is the overpowering about His servants. That if He declared something, nobody can resist it. He is Al-Qahir fawqa ibadi. If He declares something and He decreed something and He's ordered something, nobody can resist that. He is who? He is Allah. He also mentioned Himself, وَهُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بِالْحَقِّ. He is the one that created the heavens and the earth with truth. So all this in Surah Al-An'am, Allah telling us about Himself. He is this. He is the one that did this. Is there anyone that did this other than Allah? So that's the beauty of Islam. Islam is calling you to serve only Allah that has these attributes. Not calling you to serve creatures of Allah, like the awliya of Allah, or the prophets of Allah, or the angels of Allah. Islam will never call upon you to worship Jesus Christ because He is a servant of Allah. The fact that He is elevated, He has been elevated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does not mean He can be equated with Allah ta'ala. He passed through His mother's womb, just like any other child will pass through the mother's womb. To show that He is a needy. He prays to Allah, He humbled Himself to Allah. At a point, He cried to Allah. So meaning He is not deserving of worship. And none other thing deserves to be worshipped other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah qualified Himself with all this. And then Allah told us, just taking us back to Surah Al-An'am still. We have studied throughout this surah the kind of responses that Rasulullah has been giving to those that were asking Him question about Allah, asking Him question about the mission He has come with, asking Him question. Remember when He was asked about who is Allah that you are calling people to come and worship? Allah Ta'ala gave Surah Al-Ikhlas. قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ اللَّهُ الصَّمَدُ الَّذِي لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Allah is unique, He is one, is alone. هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ Allahu Samad. Allah on whom all depends. All depends on Him and He depends on none. So Allahu Samad. الَّذِي لَمْ يَلِدْ وَلَمْ يُولَدْ. He begets not, nor was He begotten. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. And none is to be compared and none is comparable unto Him. This is Allah. So this is what, and this is Allah that the Muslims serve and the Muslim worship. And this is Allah that Muslims invite everybody to come and worship. And this is Allah that all the Anbiya, all the prophets, is it Noah, is it Ibrahim, is it Moses, is it Jesus, is it Jacob, is it Sulaiman, is it all of them? All of them worship one and only one Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. None of them invited human beings to come and worship. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Rasul also in Surah Al-An'am, قُلْ لِمَنْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ قُلْ لِلَّهِ كَتَبَ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. Say to them if they ask you, قُلْ لِمَنْ مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. To whom belongs what is in the heavens and the earth? Have you ever heard someone say, I own the heavens and the earth? Have you ever seen someone who claims, yes, it belongs to me? So tell them, liman, to whom, man fi samawati wal ard, to whom belong whatever in the heavens and the earth. Qul, say to them, O Rasul, lillah, it belongs to Allah. And kataba ala nafsihi rahmah. He has established upon Himself, He has decreed upon Himself mercy and kindness. Ar-rahmah. And that is why even though people commit atrocities, people commit sin, even though all evils happen, because of the rahmah of Allah, He still give them rainfall. He still take care of their life. He still give them what they enjoy, because Allah is Ar-Rahman. He is most merciful and kind to His creatures. If they ask you about Allah, Allah also tell Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, "Qul ayyu shay'in akbaru shahada? Qul Allah shahidun bayni wa baynakum." Who is enough to serve as a witness regarding who is telling lies, regarding who is on the right path of guidance, regarding the message I have brought to you? Tell them Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will serve as a witness between me and you. Then Allah also told Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to also tell them, قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ سَمْعَكُمْ وَأَبْصَارَكُمْ وَخَتَمَ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ مَنْ إِلَهٌ غَيْرِ اللَّهِ يَأْتِيكُمْ بِهِ. Tell them, if Allah decreed that He's going to take away your sight, if Allah decreed that He's going to take away your sense of hearing, if Allah decreed that He's going to seize all this, who on the surface of the earth will be able to bring back that to you other than Allah? Who will bring it back to you? And that is why when you die, Allah Ta'ala sees the power of your sight. Allah sees the power of your hearing. Allah sees the power of all these things. Who is that have the power to now bring it back to you after Allah has seen it? Nobody. So tell them it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وقالوا, Allah Ta'ala told us, they used to say, لولا نزل عليه آية من ربه قل إن الله قادر على أن ينزل آية ولكن أكثرهم لا يعلمون. They used to ask questions. Why did Allah send revelation to you, not to the other person? Why did Allah choose this and not the other person? It is Allah's choice, subhanahu wa ta'ala. So say to them, إن الله قادر على أن ينزل آية. Allah Ta'ala has the power to send his verses. Or if they ask you, لولا نزل عليه آية من ربه, why did Allah not send a miracle to him? Why did Allah send him a miracle or a sign or a wonders so that we can see? Allah Ta'ala says he has the power to send all this to whomever he will. If he like, he will show you through miraculous way how you can appreciate his existence. And you see our Rasulullah came with so many miracles as well. So many miracles, in fact, uncountable miracles. The only thing is that Allah Ta'ala directed him, Rasulullah, even the Muslims, not to be paying much attention to this extraordinary happenings, because some people can use it through magic, through sihr, through whatever. Other than that, the miracles that came with Rasulullah are uncountable. Rasulullah increased number of amount of a little food that satisfied hundreds of people. There was a time Rasulullah placed his finger in water, he took it like this, and the finger was bringing water like tap water that hundreds of people drank from it. Rasulullah called a tree that was standing, asked the tree to come. The tree came back and then returned back. Rasulullah returned back the eyes of someone who has been plucked out. Rasulullah, so many ayats and miracles of Rasul. But Muslims don't pay attention to all these ones, because it happened in the presence of people that we are seeing that. And now those people are no more there. What remains is the glorious Quran that is even together with us, the greatest of all miracles. I pray Allah Ta'ala assists us. So Allah Ta'ala told Rasul how to respond to people that ask him questions, and Allah Ta'ala also define who he is so that people will be able to to submit to him with reason. And Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala also told us through our Surah Al-An'am, we discuss issues that has to do with varieties of creation. Allah created varieties of plants. Some of these plants are crawling, some of these plants are standing erect. He created varieties of animals. Some of these animals are crawling themselves, some are walking, some are moving, some are in the sea, some are flying, some are on the surface. Who created all this? Is Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. He created varieties of human beings. Some are black colored, some are this colored, some are short, some are tall, some speak this language, some speak the other language. Just look at in this masjid. In this masjid, all of us have different colors. No two of us have the same colors. All of us have different colors. In the entire existence, look at the billions of human beings living on the surface of the earth. All have their different colors, even if they look alike. Look at the fingerprint of everyone among the human beings. Look at all these systems that Allah have created. This is wonderful ayah of Allah Ta'ala that is enough for you to come back and serve Allah. Allah says, وَفِي أَنفُسِكُمْ أَفَلَا تُبْصِرُونَ. Can't you look at yourself? Can't you look at yourself? Is it not enough for you to see the wonders of Allah Ta'ala? وَفِي خَلْقِكُمْ, the way Allah created you. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Look at the creation of the heavens. Look at the creation of the earth. Look at the alternation of the day and the night. Look at all these things. There are enough signs to people that reason. People that reason. People that can sit down and ask themselves, what is the purpose of life? What is the purpose of existence? Because some people take existence as just to eat and drink and enjoy and die. If you look like this, you are only after getting this dunya. From where? From dunya. What are you looking for? Dunya. What is making you happy? Dunya. Why are you sad? Dunya. Everything dunya. Allah says, Ulaika kal an'am. People are like this. That are like this cannot be differentiated from domestic animals. Balhum adal. They are even worse than animals. And that's why we talk about characteristics of living things. We say all the living things, they have all those things we are talking about. They need eating, they need drinking, they need rest, they need in and out. They want all these things. And then you say your life is also only for that. Then what makes you different from that? So what will make you different from that is believe in the supernatural being and believe also in something beyond the material. By the time you believe beyond the material, then you have gone beyond the creators of this dunya and beyond the other animals. I feel like that. So if you look at Surah Al-An'am, this is the summary. If you look at Surah Al-An'am, what Allah Ta'ala drew our attention. And within, close to the end before we finish, Allah Ta'ala told us the categories of the lawful and the unlawful, and the fact that no human being have the right to declare something lawful and unlawful. It is only Allah that has that right to declare lawful and unlawful. And you remember we have stated the human Muslim living his life within 3 cycles of life. Within what? The obligation and what? The permissible and what? The prohibitions. Within the obligations, the prohibitions, and the permissibles. And the permissibles are more in number than the halal that Allah has given you to enjoy yourself. The obligations and the prohibitions are very different. By the time you take care of those prohibitions and then you discharge your obligations, Allah has promised you a Jannah because He is the poor of Him. May Allah forgive us and help us. So today we are going to continue with another chapter, that is Surah Al-Arab.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام ميم صاد كتاب أنزل إليك فلا يكن في صدرك حرج منه لتنذر به وذكرى للمؤمنين.
الله تعالى سيدنا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألف لام صاد. These are letters, just like ABCD. If you want to write and then you say ABCD, then you begin to write. I will ask you, what is the meaning of B? What do you say? What's the meaning of B? What's the meaning of C? You say these are the alphabets that you use, and through that you communicate, isn't it? These are the alphabets that you use, and through that you bring so many wonderful things in this dunya. All the innovations, the innovative things are from A, B, C, D to Z if it is English, and from 0 to 9 if it is mathematics, isn't it? All what you have, but all manipulations of digits, all manipulation, you talk about tens, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, or whatever, is between 0 and 9. That's all what you have been manipulating, isn't it? And when you talk about your speech, about your talk, about your utterances, it all revolves around the letters. It might be in English language, it might be in Arabic, it might be in another language, it revolves around those particular alphabets and letters. So the wonders of Allah regarding creation, the wonders of Allah regarding communication, the wonders of Allah regarding innovations, the wonders of Allah regarding so many things happening in this dunya is based on some few things that Allah Ta'ala has provided for human beings to manipulate. So you see in the glorious Quran, Alif, Lam, Mim, Ha, Mim, all these letters are alphabets. It is through this that Allah Ta'ala brought the glorious Quran as a book that someone can read, and a book that can guide people, and a book that can change people. You remember Rasulullah started inviting people to the path of guidance from simple command, and that is what? Iqra, read. Read. That was the first command Allah gave us. Iqra, read. Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Khalaqa al-insana min alaq. Iqra wa rabbuka al-akram alladhi 'allama bil-qalam 'allama al-insana ma lam ya'lam. That's the beginning. When Allah Ta'ala declared the importance of education, the importance of reading, the importance of communication. And Allah Ta'ala declared this particular, Rasulullah started preaching, started calling from 1, 2, 3, 4, and he started in the midst of people that knew nothing called reading and writing. They are ummiyun. They are not after reading and writing. And he started in the midst of people that have a lot of negative attitudes. And the Quran came to change their attitude so that they become better. Within 23 years, he accomplished this task given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala begins some surah, the glorious Quran, with some of this alphabet. That does not mean they do not have value and importance for them being placed there, even if you cannot say this is the meaning. And that's why scholars say, وَتُقْرَأُ هَذِهِ الْأَحْرُفُ مُقَطَّعَةً كُلُّ حَرْفٍ عَلَى حِدَّةٍ اللَّهُ أَعْلَمُ بِمُرَادِهِ. You now recite this Alif, Lam, Mim, Swad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows why he placed this at the beginning. Allah said Kitabun. Kitabun ay hadha al-Quran. This Quran you are reciting, Kitabun is a book. It's a special book. This Quran you are reciting is a book. This Quran you are reciting, a book. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Unzila ilayka. A book that has been revealed to you. To who? To Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Meaning he never invented the book sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he was never trained in the art of reading and writing. He never studied under anybody. And the community there is a community that is not known in the art of reading and writing. So for you to say that he has been trained in reading and writing by a scholar, by someone, by this and that. And imagine he grew up in the midst of his people, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years. Nobody has ever had him reading A or B or C or anything about Mutawu. Suddenly he started reciting Quran. So Allah Ta'ala is the one that revealed this particular book. Kitabun unzila ilayka wala yakun fi sadrika harajun min. You should never feel grieved or worried or disturbed by what is in the glorious Quran. Scholars of Islam say, when Allah Ta'ala said this, it was because the Rasul initially, he was thinking, how will people accept this message from me? Then Allah Ta'ala had given me. So worried, disturbed, people that are so much so deep into this, people that have never been exposed to this, people that when delivering this message, it becomes a source of worry to Rasul. How will I deliver this message so that people will actually accept this particular that you are feeling somehow, so that people will not go and say it is lie. You know it is true, Allah will listen to you, preaching this. What will people say? What will their belief be? How will their response be? How will their reaction be? And what will happen? Allah said, don't think that. Talk. Allah sent this particular book to you, so that you will use it to warn mankind. So it's a message for you to go and warn mankind. And that is one of the purpose of the revelation. Allah revealed revelation to Rasul for him to be Bashiran wa Nadhiran wa Da'iyan ila Allah bi-ibnihi wa sirajan munira. Rasulullah Allah sent him to be Bashiran wa Nadhiran, to be someone who would give good news, glad tidings for those people that do good. Remember, your good will not go for nothing. Remember, if you are good, even if nobody recognizes that good, Allah recognizes that good. Remember, if you obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has prepared a place for you to reward you and compensate you. So he came Bashiran. Wa Nadhira, he also came as a warner, to warn the arrogant people, to warn the evil people, to warn the corrupt people, to warn those people that disbelieve in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that even though you live in this dunya, nobody punish you because you are powerful, nobody punish you because you are above the law, nobody punish you because you have getting your way, nobody punish you because nobody is seeing you, but go and warn them that there is consequences. Something will happen. Don't think you will just go free in this dunya because you have done everything, all evil and atrocities, and nobody get hold of you. There is something waiting for you, and you are going to come and account for that. So Rasul came to be Nadhir, Bashir wa Nadhira, wa Da'iyan ila Allah. Allah sent him to be a Da'iyan ila Allah, a caller to call people to come and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the glorious Quran has been revealed to Rasul, warn mankind, to give good news to mankind, and to invite them to Allah Ta'ala. So Allah Ta'ala said, Kitabun unzila ilayka wa la yakun fi sadrika harajun minhu litunzira bihi wa dhikra lil mu'minin. And so that this Quran will be a reminder to the believers. A reminder to the believers that yes, what you are doing, this is what you are supposed to do, and this is what you are supposed to add, and this is what this and this and that. To remind you so that you can come back to your senses and do the right thing. Then Allah Ta'ala said,
اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء قليلا ما تذكرون.
Allah Ta'ala says, قل يا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم للناس الذين تنذرهم. Those people that you are to go and warn, go and tell them. So this is a directive given to him by Allah. Go and tell them. You know, when Allah Ta'ala says to Rasul, read, it's a command to him. It's not that he should go and call people to read. It is command to him, read. So after he gave the command of reading, and he became now attached and submerged into the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then the next thing when he went back home, Allah Ta'ala now called for him to come and serve Allah. He said, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا نِصْفَهُ أَوْ انْقُصْ مِنْهُ قَلِيلًا أَوْ زِدْ عَلَيْهِ وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ قرآنا ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا. Then Allah called upon him. It's not a matter of sleeping. You have read, you have been educated, you have now learned. قم الليل إلا قليلا. Wake up and serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Serve Allah. Serve Allah. قم الليل إلا قليلا. Use the night except but a little part of the night. So the same thing in human life. After you acquire education, what do you do with it? Implement it. Use it. Benefit yourself. Improve yourself. Remember, we have mentioned at the beginning, right? You do 3 things with the gift of Allah. Who can remember? How do you manage the gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? We mentioned it here. 1, you do what? Benefit yourself. Number 2, you do what? You benefit others. Number 3, you do what? You avoid wastage. Anything that Allah gives you, do these 3 things. Benefit yourself. Benefit others. Avoid wastage. It becomes a blessed thing. So the same thing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Rasul read. He is educated. He learned from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah ta'ala asks him, قُمِ اللَّيْلَ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا نِصْفَهُ أَوْ انقُصْ مِنْهُ قَلِيلًا أَوْ زِدْ عَلَيْهِ وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. At this particular moment, the Rasul was not inviting people to come and pray. He was not inviting people to come and observe Nawafil in the night. But it is he himself that is doing this thing. So he became trained in it. Allah Ta'ala said, you should do that because إِنَّا سَنُلْقِي عَلَيْكَ قَوْلًا ثَقِيلًا. There's a heavy message that we are going to give you. And you need to be trained so that you can be able to carry this particular message as supposed, and you can be able to deliver this particular message. So after Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he learned Iqra. He now dedicates himself to Allah. Then Allah Ta'ala told him what? قُمْ فَأَنذِرْ وَرَبَّكَ فَكَبِّرْ وَثِيَابَكَ فَطَهِّرْ وَالرُّجْزَ فَهْجُرْ وَلَا تَمْنُنْ تَسْتَكْثِرْ وَلِرَبِّكَ فَاصْبِرْ. Then قُمْ فَأَنذِرْ. Now it's a direction. Stand up and warn people. So now the message is to be delivered to others. Stand and warn people. Stand and deliver the message. And that is why Rasulullah started. And sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, for the next 23 years, he never rested. It was all calling him, Anzir. Since the time Allah said, Anzir, stand up and start warning people, he never rested for the next 23 years. Is it under sunshine, under rain, while traveling, at home, while at all situations, in the battlefield, in the market, at home, it was all inviting people. And that was what the life of Rasul. Until when finally, he now addressed the people of the global world, then, Muslims that come from all parts of the world, to gather in farewell Hajj. He addressed them, reminding them that they are all supposed to term themselves as one. No one should feel he is superior to the other, neither the Arab or the non-Arab, neither this or that. They are all one. And then he warned mankind, warning them, said, "La tarji'u ba'di kuffara, yadribu ba'dukum riqaba ba'd." After I am gone, don't turn back after me like disbelievers, fighting and killing one another. Don't go back like disbelievers, fighting and killing one another. This is an admonition of Rasul. Never should you be fighting one another. This one say Allahu Akbar and this might see this one. This one say Allahu Akbar. Rasul said, never should you do that. La tarji'u ba'di kuffara, yadribu ba'dukum riqaba ba'd. Never should you do that. Rasul declared, dima'akum wa amwalakum wa aradakum haramun alaykum ka hurmati yawmikum hadha fi baladikum hadha fi shahrikum hadha. Rasul said, listen to me. Your blood, your integrity or honor, your wealth or resources is all sacred. You shouldn't destroy that for your own brother. It remains sacred. You must never trespass. You must never kill another person. You must never go and waste the resources of another person. You must not go and destroy the reputation of another person. Then after Rasul declare all this, he now asks all those that are gathered. He said, Hal ballagtu, have I delivered the message for the past 20-something years? Have I delivered the message? They all responded and said, yes, you have delivered. He said, Allahumma fashhad, Allah, you are my witness. Allahumma fashhad, Allah, you are my witness. Rasul said, have I delivered? They said, you have delivered. He said, Allahumma fashhad, Allah, you are my witness. I have delivered this message. I have warned mankind. I have done what you asked me to do. And Allah Ta'ala then declared, Al-yawma akmaltu lakum dinakum wa atmamtu alaykum ni'mati wa raditu lakum al-islam dinan. The religion is now complete. My favor and ni'mah is now complete on you. And I have chosen Islam to be your religion. Chosen Islam to be your religion. You know one of the beauties of Islam? The name Islam is in the book of Islam, which is Quran. It's not a name that is associated with the Rasul himself or with a particular tribe or with a particular region. No, it means submission to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasul delivered this message. So it means he lived for the message and he delivered this particular message. And he returned back to Allah after delivering this message. He started with 1, 2, 3, few people. Some accepting Islam in secret, some few people coming, then being tortured, being put into difficulties. At the end, before he returned back to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحُ وَرَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. Now people are entering the religion of Allah in groups. People are now coming willingly accepting Islam in groups. Earlier they started one by one, little by little. This is what Allah Ta'ala is now telling us to be determined to go and call people, and he actually was determined and he actually did call people. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala said to all of us, Ar-Rasul should declare, Ya Muhammad, follow what has been revealed to you back from your Lord. What has been revealed? The glorious Quran. So all of us have now no excuse or reason not to follow Al-Quran. You should follow that has been revealed to you from your Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Rabb, your Lord, who defined himself in several places. He is the one that created you. He is the one that provided for you. If you die, you are coming back to him. He is the one that revealed the Quran. He is the one that revealed this message. Follow this particular message that has been sent by your Lord. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا مِنْ دُونِهِ أَوْلِيَاءَ. Never should you follow any other creator as a friend, any other person, any other being, any other whatever, as someone that you are going to rely on, or as someone that you are going to worship, or as someone that is going to be your protector. You should never follow any other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قَلِيلًا مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. But really, very little, مَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. You take heed to this particular one. So many people don't even mind. So many people are careless. They don't even want to listen. They don't want to pay attention. Very few pay attention. Very few listen and very few implement. And that's the issue of Allah. And that's why Allah Ta'ala is talking about Quran, that listen to Quran and pay attention. It's not a matter of listening alone, that enter this ear and then go out from the other ear. No. Pay attention to Quran, listen to Al-Quran, internalize the Quran, be part of the Quran, talk Quran, walk Quran, think Quran, reflect on Quran. كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتفكروا في الكتاب. So the Quran and the Nabi Sallallahu. So in this particular verse, Allah Ta'ala is telling us, you have no option but to follow the Quran. And Rasul also tell mankind that nobody has any reason not to follow the Quran. Follow the Quran and the giver Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, even though very few people heed this particular warning from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. I pray Allah Ta'ala guide us, bless us, and be with us. Whatever we say which is correct, I say which is right, may Allah reward me and you and assist us to implement the best out of it. And whatever I say which is wrong, may Allah forgive me and forgive you and take it away from our heads and make it possible for us to get correction. I pray Allah Ta'ala guide us, bless us, and be with us. Inshallah, we have come to the end of this. We have entered another Surah Al-Araf. Surah Al-Araf is also a special surah. That word Araf came in the glorious Quran. Huzaifa ibn Yaman was asked about Araf itself. He said Araf is like a station. Allah will categorize people into 3 categories. The good ones whose good deeds overpowered the evil. Those who have good deeds much more than evil deeds. These people are people of Jannah. And then the people whose evil deeds is now much more than good deeds. These people will face torment, punishment, even if they are going to be released later. But they will have to be punished by Allah. Then there's Ashabul A'raf. Those people who good deeds and bad deeds are the same, are equal. Then Allah decides on this particular kind of people. I pray Allah Ta'ala guide us and be with us. Inshallah, I will just stop here. I pray Allah Ta'ala bless us in the most. I pray Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala bless us. I don't think that's a question. We have answered all the questions that came to us earlier. So if there are others that come to me, we will respond to them tomorrow. Inshallah. I'll stop here. I did mention earlier that some people push us. Initially, we do our recitation here and then take this thing. But some people give advice that it's better we take it to FM. And from there, we used to run FM prestige by them. And the people mobilize over 300,000 so that the Tafsir can air. Maybe some of you that used to listen,
every 1 p.m. to 1:30. 1 p.m. to 1:30, the tafsir used to be aired. But the problem is that they mobilize 300,000 to get some, and then give them the next 200,000. We are working, I think, how much? 15,000 now. And then somebody just donated 10,000. So remain the balance for us to pay so that they can continue to air it. As far as we are concerned, whether it is aired or not, we have done our little best. But if it is aired, it might benefit more. So we pray we can contribute the balance so that we can pay them. I think they give us now in 3 days. So that we can be able to pay the balance. We are looking for money to do that. We are all agreed to pay Allah and Allah will do in abundance. Inshallah, we'll stop here. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. اللهم بارك على محمد وآل محمد وبارك على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم اجعل القرآن ربيع قلوبنا. اللهم اجعل القرآن ربيع قلوبنا وجلاء أحزاننا وذهاب همومنا وسائقنا عن خير إليك وإلى جناتك وجنات النعيم. اللهم ذكرنا منه ما نسينا وعلمنا منه ما جهلنا وارزقنا تلاوته آناء الليل وأطراف النهار برحمتك يا رب العالمين. لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مريدا إلا شفيته ولا مريدا إلا رحمته ولا مبتلا إلا عافيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا والآخرة إلا قضيتها برحمتك يا رب العالمين. اللهم ربنا تقبل صيامنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا واجعلنا من ذلك الراشدين. اللهم اجعل صيامنا صيام الصائمين وقيامنا قيام القائمين وركوعنا ركوع الراكعين وسجودنا سجود الشاهدين برحمتك يا رب العالمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. وبارك على محمد وآل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وآل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون. سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.